Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say
B.Woods on the Mic podcast. And I got my boy. I wouldn't be B.Woods without this guy right here. I'd be Brent. And ain't nothing wrong with Brent. But the guy
Brent's a good lawyer name. You got a lawyer or a attorney or something, or like a somebody that does your paperwork. Brent, that's a good name.
Exactly. I would have to be wearing glasses. You would have to avoid my phone calls if I was just Brent.
Yeah.
but if it wasn't for this guy right here, the Cuban assassin,
That's
the
right.
guy that was doing promotions to filling in the Theo to doing all kinds of craziness at the beat.
Jeez.
My guy, the guy that named me B.Woods, the one, the only, the man on air radio at the beat, Eric Cubeechee.
Thank you. We'll spray some spray for that right there. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, brother. I haven't talking to you for literally it feels like over a decade, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, and your son is 15.
15, man. Time flies, bro. I mean,
Time flies.
it really seems like yesterday that we were working at the radio station, right? It doesn't seem that long ago. And then people, when you start thinking about how long it's been, it's been a long time. Everything, you could see how people's lives go different directions. You know what I mean? It's so weird.
Yeah. And it's so crazy too, because social media kind of gives the impression that we all talk all the time, but
Yeah.
it's like we don't really connect until we actually connect. And that's why it's different when you actually have a conversation. So that's why it's dope.
Yeah, what's funny is that I always sniper on Eddie G's. I don't leave many messages on people's stuff, but I like Eddie G will put up something stupid on his Facebook, and then I'll just sniper something in a stupid comment. And people are like, "Who is this guy? Why are you so mean to you?" And I'm like, I'll say something stupid. I'll be like, "Dude, you need to we don't even know. Like, we need Manny Pacquiao to come translate or something."
And you've always trolled Eddie G, which is hilarious.
Oh yeah, Eddie G is the best, dude. He's funny, dude, because he's just genuine person, dude. And there's people that go to school that probably hire these acting coaches to act like Eddie G, and that's how he is, dude. He's a natural comic, dude, and it's great.
Shout out to Eddie G, and it's so funny too, because who did I just talk to? Cat. I just talked to Cat. He says what up. You know what I mean? He was giving you a lot of props. Obviously, Pee Wee says what's up too. And man, and the thing that's so dope is that my trajectory as far as just my career and radio, real talk, wouldn't be where it was if it wasn't for you, because you were the dude that kind of took me out my shell.
Yeah. Well, that happened to me. I was really like that too. I was really reserved, and then, like I said, I was telling you, Corn Dog was like the first guy I ever went on a hit with, and I was like petrified. And Corn was like, "Yo, you gotta do the call." You know what I mean? You got to do the call, and you would force me to do the call, and then I once you do it, to do the call into the like, people that probably don't know, like when you work for a radio station back then, I don't think they do that anymore unless it's paid. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that when people back then, like, they'd be like, okay, you got to call the radio station and talk to people and be like a little 30-second on-air DJ to promote this event for people to come to. And if you don't do it right, nobody's going to show up. And and people pay money for that. So Corn Dog was like, "Yo, jump on it." I'm like, "I'm not doing that." And then he made me do it, and then I did it, and then I ended up, I think I made you do it too. And I was like, "Yo, now you got to go." You're like, "I'm not doing. Nah, you're gonna be fine," But then it was crazy because I remember a few times, like, if you would call in, and like it would be like Theo, and they were like, "Hey, Corn," or there's a person would the person would do the call-in, and then they'd be like, "Hey, put Corn on the phone." They're like, "Who is this guy?" And then, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It would always, and you would clown me, like if I would be with Chipmunk. I remember I had a call where, oh man, I should have got it too, where we were at a male strip club for a hit, and you clowned us. You were like, it was game over.
Man, dude. They know better. They shouldn't have set that one up, dude. They shouldn't have. Man, dude. The sales department was like, "Ooh, who do we send that to?" You know what I mean?
And what's the thing is too is just that, because we spent years together, but I don't even really know your story. Like, are you originally from LA, and how'd you even get into the radio game?
I originally from LA. I was born in Hawthorne, and then my mom came to the United States in 1969 because they left communism in Cuba.
Okay.
My brother was born in Cuba. I was the firstborn here out of the whole family. So, you know, first generation, everybody else was born in Cuba. So then they came here. My mom came here, met my dad. My dad's Cuban too. So they met at some Cuban discotheque in LA. And my dad was working at LAX at the time as a bartender, which is funny. But so then they whatever, and then I was born, and then I grew up in Hawthorne, and then it got kind of crazy over there. So then my mom moved me to Orange County with my brother, and then started just going over there. And then I liked music a lot from a young age because my family was always had music all around the house, you know, a lot of Spanish music, everything. And then, you know, I liked music. And then I remember going to my buddy Saul's house, and then his brother had a DJ system, and I was like, wow, that's cool. I want to do that. And then, you know, I started seeing more stuff on TV, and then I went to his house and I started listening, and I always, even in high school, I really always had like all the new CDs. I would go out and get them because I wanted to have them first. And I was the first one to have the portable CD player and all that good stuff. And then when I got out of there, it's a natural transition into like, oh, I saw my boy, I wanted to buy it. I got in a car accident. And my mom goes, you can do whatever you want, because they rear-ended my car, and I got like a $2,500 settlement. And I went to Pro Sound in Orange County that was having a sale, and I bought my turntables. I bought my turntables and a mixer and speakers, and that's it. Then I didn't have money for records, so I borrowed my buddy's Saul's brother Jesse, his records, and then that's how I learned. And all the records he had was like disco, funk, 70s, and all that stuff. So that's how I learned all that, because I learned mixing on it. And then after that, I just started doing parties in Orange County. And then my buddy was like, you should get a internship. They're asking for interns. And this was like, man, I forgot, 94 or something like that. And then I went in there and I took it, and they accepted me. I had an interview, and I was like, whoa. And it was right before Summer Jam that I got accepted I got the internship. So I remember getting the internship, and like, they're like, okay, you got it, but we can't do anything for like another week because it's this thing, Summer Jam. So I remember listening to Summer Jam, and that was when like Biggie and Jodeci and all them were on there. So that was pretty cool.
And so, and so were you listening to the beat prior to? Okay.
Because I always liked like Julio. I remember listening to Julio and Tony G a lot. I like Julio a lot, and Tony G and the Ruthless Radio Show, because my brother was like, hey, Eazy-E has a show. And I remember listening to it and going, oh, Julio G and Tony. I think I heard some Spanish in that too. And I was like, that's cool. But then, you know, at that point, if you put on Power 106, it was mostly house music, you know, very dancey. And they had like the Baker Boys, but they were cool. I liked them, but then, you know, I liked more of the music that was getting played on. I wasn't into too much of the house music and stuff. So I liked more of the stuff that they were playing on the beat. But then, you know, I had an internship at the beat, and I also was interning at Delicious Vinyl, the record label.
Okay.
So I had 2 internships, and I was working like in a warehouse somewhere in Costa Mesa. So I was working there 3 days a week, and I was interning 4 days a week, or 3. Yeah. So I was working 3 and interning 4. I do 2 at the record company and 3 at the radio station.
That's crazy.
I did that with no money. I barely, and then I would DJ like on a Friday and Saturday night. I would DJ, and I still got these old flyers of like when I first started, because I wasn't on the air yet, but I had knew Corn Dog, and I knew Julio, and I knew Melody. So I would throw the clubs, and I would hire them to come DJ or host or whatever. So
that's sick. That's sick. So what was like that first, when you actually got to the radio station, what was that first week like, and what did they have you doing?
They told me, okay, I went in there, we had that like they you know, fill out all the paperwork, and then they were like, you know, go, you're gonna go out with this guy Corn Dog. And I knew who he was, and I'm like, oh shit, Corn Dog? And then like, yeah. And he was, dude, it was funny because back then, like, Corn was like just a straight, like, you know, big hoop earrings, dressed nice,
right?
Real like slick looking guy. And then, you know, I'm all, oh, he's gonna go with me, and couldn't be the nicest, man. He was really, 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 really nice, and really encouraging, and never, just super cool, not a hater at all, just always. And he's always been like that with me too. But we're still friends. We still talk like a couple times a year. We'll talk, you know, but you know, and we reach out, and you know, we talk, we have long conversations sometimes. You're not long, but we talk for, you know, about our kids and life and stuff like that. But you know, and then I started doing that, and then one time, like 3 months into my internship, they're like, yo, you're gonna work this backyard barbecue, and Julio G's gonna DJ. And I'm like, what? Julio? I'm like, oh shit. And I knew about Julio. I'm like, yeah, I want to work that. So when Julio got there, I was like, hey, you need help with your turntables? Because he was buying the turntables. He's all, yeah. And I go, okay, cool. And then I like took him up there, and I go, I could set him up. I know how to set him up or whatever. And he's like, oh, I could do it. And I'm all right, whatever. And then I was talking to him, and then I was like, yeah, dude, I remember you were a Cypress Hill. You actually were the first member of Cypress Hill, I think, right? You introduced Muggs, and I knew all the history. Like, oh shit. He's all, dude, I need an intern for Saturday nights. I go, I'm in. And then I started interning for him on Saturday nights when it was just a mix master show without Easy was already passed. So then Julio was taking over the Ruthless Radio or the Mixmaster show on Saturday nights. And then I interned for him just Saturday nights, and I was interning at the radio station and interning at the Delicious Vinyl. And then when we moved over to the 100.3 The Beat, then when I was still interning, and then I was supposed to go to the Billboard Awards, and Julio was going to broadcast Saturday and Sunday from the Billboard Awards, right? I have no history of radio. I just talk a little shit when I was on there with Julio, and talk a little shit, DJs, we all talk a little shit. So then Julio was going to drive out there. He didn't want to fly. So I remember Diana Steele was doing like a shift there, and then she was gone. She had to leave somehow. And then they called me, and Julio called, and he's like, dude, there's a giant rainstorm. My truck won't, because he had a raised truck, and with the wind, it was too risky. That thing might, the wind might flip it over.
Right.
He goes, dude, I can't make it. So then I go, what? And I was already like, it was like an hour and a half ready till 2:00. And then they're like, call Mariama. And Mariama Snyder, she was like the MD at the time. And I called her, I go, hey, Julio's not here, so I don't know what you guys are going to do. And she goes, well, I've heard you on the radio with Julio. She goes, you can do it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I can do it? I can't do it. I've never been on the radio. And then she goes, no, I've heard you talk. You're fine. Well, we're going to fax over the things, read it, and do it. And I did it. And I interviewed like the Whisperers. And there's a guy named Barry Krechik who worked for Premier Radio. And he was like the one that was running the radio room. And he goes, dude, just do it. You're fine. Because they needed LA.
Right.
They needed LA to broadcast, or they were going to have to the station was going to have to give back a bunch of money because they didn't have a live broadcaster, and it would be a mess, right?
And the thing is, that would never happen now, which is so crazy in a million years. And so, what's going through your mind when you first have to crack the mic?
I was just all right, and I remember preparing really well, because I always knew if you prepare, you'll be all right, You don't want to get caught off surprise. So I remember writing, and then they're like, okay. So they're like, just read the liners. And then I'll go, they're like, just read the liners. Don't interview anybody. And I'm like, all right. And then they kept on coming up to me, and they're like, hey, can you interview the Whispers? Can you interview this person, whatever? And then I go, hey, Mariama. And it was Mariama and Michelle S. And then they were like, they want me to interview people. She's like, you think you can do it? And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And then they're like, okay, go ahead, try it. So I did it, and it worked out. And it worked out. And then the next day I had to do it again. That was Sunday, 3 hours. Then how about this one? And people don't remember. I got back on Monday. Monday was a holiday or something.
Right.
I got back on Monday from doing Saturday and Sunday. Right. I get back on Monday, and Paris, Paris, she called me. She was the assistant in the program department. She calls me, and she's like, guess what? And I'm like, what? She's like, where are you at? And I'm at home. She's like, get in your car and get to the station right away. And I'm like, why? She's like, Mariama told me to call you because Theo's sick and you need to fill in for Theo.
What?
And I'm like, whoa. What are you talking about? I go, dude, I can't do that. I go, I've been on the radio twice. I never did college radio. She's all, I'm not telling her no, so you better be here. And then I go, fuck. And then I called Sujit, who's my manager, has been a long time manager of mine, and I called a couple other people, and they're like, yeah, go fuck it. What do you got to lose? They're gonna help you out. And I got there, and Tawala was like, man, this is crazy. And then I think he was helping me out there. I think he was helping me out or something. There's a lot of people because I didn't know all the equipment. I didn't know.
Right. That was my next question. Like, did you know the board or any of that?
I knew the board, but I didn't know the intricacies. I didn't know the little tricks and all the stuff. So I did it, and then they asked me to do it the next day. And I was like, or they did Thursday, Friday, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then when I got back, after that weekend, they called me to the office again, and they're like, hey, we want to give you like Saturday nights or something, because when Julio got full time Monday through Friday, he wasn't doing Saturdays anymore. So they're like, do you want to do Saturdays? And I'm like, okay. So then I did Saturdays. So they called it, Saturday Night Live, and I had Rest in Peace, Hideo, ICI's Curse. Man, I had a lot of people come through there. Homicide AM
right.
came through. Homicide, a bunch of people came through, but that's basically all in a nutshell that happened. And then Julio, then I was just doing Saturdays, and then I think Julio, there was something going on with the radio station or something. And then when there was some, I don't know exactly what was going on with all that, but then when I did, LaLa sat in with me on a Saturday night, and then they thought that the chemistry was good. And then after a while, after a couple months, when they were trying to figure things out, I don't know exactly what the politics were behind that. And then they're like, hey, do you want to do nights with LaLa? And I was like, sure. And then we did it, and it was fun. It was really a lot of time. Good time.
That's crazy. So like, and that's the thing that's so crazy, because LaLa, you know, she's doing her thing on Power and the whole thing, and it's crazy. But going back, even when, so you just kind of jumped on the air, and so what's like the reaction, like your family and your friends when did they lose it?
It's funny you said that, dude. You're asking good questions. It's funny you said that, because the minute I was on there, my phone started going crazy, you know, and it was like, people are like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing on the air? Why are you on here? Like, and I remember Corn Dog walked in, because I was supposed to do like something with Corn Dog on the street. And then he like walked in, and then Corn Dog called in.
And so you know how it is in radio, because it's like, you know, you had the promotions people, they had aspirations to be on air. And so now, you know, Corn Dog's been there for a while. Now you get the shot to be on air. Did you feel any bad energy or nothing from the street team or nothing?
I talked to him about that. Like, I was like, hey dude, you know, and actually I didn't even have to say anything to him. He came up to me and congratulated me. And, you know, when he talked to me, and it was real. It wasn't no fake shit. Like, oh man, yeah, you know how people do that shit. But he was like, nah, he was like, he really felt it. And I accepted, you know, he was really genuine about it, you know. I didn't really get any heat. People were talking some people were like fucking talking shit to me, but jokingly. But, you know, I don't know. I was 21, 20, something like that.
Right. And it's almost easier, because it's just like, you're just so young that you're like, all right, cool. It's just, hey, let me just do it. And it transitioned the game, which is so dope. And that Saturday night slot is such a dope slot too, because it's in LA. Everybody's going to the club, and at that time it was just you went to the radio to find out what was popping in LA. You know, LA, Miami it's a different energy. Like, what were those Saturday nights like?
It was fun. It was, you know, before I was doing Monday through Friday, it was like, okay, once you're on there one night a week, and it was just rocking. But then after, like, you know, 5 nights, and then the 6th night, you're like drained. But when I got in there and it was new energy, all the DJs, because I would try to get a new DJ every year. The good thing about it is they never really gave me shit. Like, they never really, unless I was really, even when I was really, really out there, they were still very, like, they were very loose with me. They let me pretty much, unless I went really overboard, they knew that I kind of knew what was happening as far as music. Because I was very involved with other DJs and with the clubs in LA. I was really involved with the clubs. I knew all the DJs in LA. I knew all the best DJs in LA. I knew all the door guys in LA. I knew the hip hop people, and I knew some of the artists. And then I was also going to the Mix Show Power Summits in Puerto Rico, and going to these conventions and talking to DJs from other parts of the country. Because, you know, nobody was looking at their Instagram. Maybe it was like Facebook or MySpace, and you might see a couple things, but it wasn't instant how it is now. So I'd come back. Like, I remember clearly coming back from Puerto Rico or Miami, and I remember they were playing Wankster from 50 Cent, right? And I remember I called up Vice, you know, DJ Vice, right?
Yeah.
I remember I called up Vice, and I go, hey, you really like this song? I like this song. Because it was in Puerto Rico, every DJ from the East Coast and on that side was banging it. This is right. Like, and everybody was like, yeah, 50 Cent, you know, he had the Hotta Rob. That was his introduction, but he had reinvented himself with this after he got shot with this new thing. It was for the album, and he would put out Wankster. So then Vice goes, dude, I'm gonna bang it out, and I'm gonna bang it out too. I'm just gonna bang this fucker until whenever, and then you play it on, you play it over there, and you play it on Power, and I think it'll be fucking work, and it did well. You know what I mean?
It did really well out here.
So then that's why when 50 Cent came with G Unit to LA, their first interview was with me. Because I knew their managers. I knew all their managers, because I had known Nelson, who he worked with Slim Shady. I knew I knew like James Cruz, who was he worked for Violator, Chris Lighty's management group, and I had known him. So they were managing 50 and G Unit, but then I had known Nelson from he worked for Shady. And I knew all those guys, but I knew them because when I went to those conventions, I would hang out with them and we would have drinks and we would go out. And so I made my friends, a lot of friends on the East, I'm still friends with all of them.
Right.
We still talk all the time, you know, and then, you know, that was very important. And I don't think many people, well, there was only the Beat and Power, and mostly at Power, the only people that were going over there were the DJs. And from the Beat, like Hideo would go, K-Sly would go, A1 would go, and you know, not many other DJs wanted to go to those things. They didn't think it was needed to. Who else would go? That was about it. PJ would go,
right?
And Adele, Curse wouldn't go, but I will tell him Melody wouldn't go either. But you go to those things and you make friends. And see, when you're a DJ and you're just DJing, you might probably don't. But since I was on the air hosting, I had to politic because I want the interviews.
Right.
You know, and you need to do that. That's why I did it. And that's why I got a lot, like 50. That's why they came to LA and they did the whole hour. We did like the G Unit. We did like 2 hours on a Friday night with them.
That's crazy.
And they did the interview because at that time I was hosting a TV show on it was an LA TV. It's like a Spanglish, and I was hosting as a TV host, and they did that too.
What was the name of that show? I think I remember that show too.
I had one on LA TV that was called Hip Hop Massive. No, Hip Hop Massive. That was like an offshoot. I had another just a hip hop. It was called the Hip Hop Show. That was on there. But then I had another another TV station, Spanglish. It was called CTV, SITV.
Right.
And I had two shows on there, 3 shows on there, 2 shows. I had 2 shows on there. I had a show on there. And it's all Spanglish, which is pretty cool. But I had a show. They're all TV shows too. I mean, we did like 90 episodes of those things, like real studio stuff. So I did a show called Across the Hall, which was like a video MTV show, and like a sitcom and intertwined amongst videos. So I did that with Maite Garcia. She's a girl that was married to Prince.
No kidding. Okay, I didn't know that.
You know, remember Maite, the one that was married? She's the one I think she was going to have a baby with Prince or something. But she was married to him.
No shit. Okay.
And then I had another show called The Drop, which was like, The Drop was funny because The Drop was like, it was like America, like kind of like Soul Train, right? There was dances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we would do interviews with we had a lot of guests on there. I mean, big guests on there. So I remember I did that with like Luscious Liz Hernandez was one of my guest hosts. This girl Jaylyn. Man, there's a lot of people that went through. I think Romeo from the Goodfellas, he did a couple shows on there too. It was cool, but it's always good to be in front of the camera too. You know what I mean?
And that was the thing that was so crazy because like your trajectory was just it was everywhere at the Beat, and you became a staple of LA. And then when you are this voice and kind of just this up and coming talent, like what's your relationship with the other jocks at the station, like Theo and everybody else, when you're like the new guy?
Everybody was cool because Julio was Julio taught me a lot. You know, it taught me a lot on what I witnessed as far as how he was a great DJ, right? But he's also like a good person, a great person, a fair person, off the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I learned more being in the studio off the air with how he handled life and certain things and people and his fame at a young age as well. And you know, there's things in there that I didn't like. My dad wasn't around all the time when so I remember learning things from him, like as far as like, oh shit, that's what I should have done. I didn't say much, but you take those things and they stay in you. And, you know, and when you come in those crossroads, I remember thinking a lot of these things, and this is not too long ago. I remember go, fuck man, a lot of these things that I have to make decisions on, I remember, and like I learned why I made these decisions. It was a lot to do with me seeing like Julio do this stuff at a young age and seeing what he went through off the air, on the air, everything. He was always cool, very supportive, still friends with him. And but you know, he taught me, he was very nice to me, him and Tony G and everybody. You know, they're considered family, you know.
And that was the thing was so crazy because when I was in the promotions department, I didn't really, you know, I knew folks and I didn't. And you would come and I'd just be there working on like little papers and all this stuff over here. And I was dressed like Boyz II Men. and you would, and I was so intimidated because everybody was just like the cool people, and you would come grab me and be like, hey, and I didn't have a car at the time, and you would be like, hey, come do the call-ins with me. Because you didn't like going out by yourself on during the weekday, because you would do call-ins for Julio G.
Yeah.
And so you would just grab, and we would just go all around the town. And then I remember you would always get Red Bulls, and I would just you get your Red Bull, and then you would be like, yeah, it's Eric Cubeechee, and I'm out here with Brent. And then you would just have this look on your face of disgust. And then you would do it again, and you like, Tuesday, I'm out here, Eric Cubeechee, Julio G, and I'm out here with Brent. And you like,
oh yeah.
And then you were like, bro, you need to change your name. I was like, you need a nickname or something, because it's not working. Like, it to you, it almost felt like it fucked up the whole call-in. And so you're like, what's your last name and your first initial? And I was like, B.Woods. Yeah, we're using that. That.
That's
and
fun.
Then,
That's all. That was all a plan, dude. I didn't mean it. You know what I mean? It was all getting your head a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, dude, those times, nobody hated on me, dude. Nobody. Even I'm friends with Felly Fell. And we were going at it, and we would talk to, like, he would shout me out on Power, and I would see him in clubs, and we were friends. People think that we had to be, and we would DJ together. Like, we share the same management, so we'd be booked together. And people were like, aren't you on this and aren't you on that? And I'm like, nah, dude, it's not how it works with me. But Theo was always nice to me, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of it was because Julio. I mean, he knew I was part of Julio's camp, so he was friends with me. But when he had to go like do something for in Vegas, they needed a rover to go with the mic and run around with the wireless, and he chose. He goes, yo, go, hey Eric, can you go out there with me? And then we ended up doing a commercial, and then he ended up being friend. Like people be like, hey, can you do this? Or we have you working with Theo, or every time, you know what I mean? Because he would be like, yeah, have Eric come do it, and then I would, he was nice to me. I wish I would hear from him. I don't, nobody really hears from him.
Nobody knows. Every episode there's a Theo conversation, and nobody knows where he is. Like, Theo is, we'll someday, for Theo, wherever you at, holla at your boy. And it's just like, it's one of those things. What's like one of some of your favorite moments? I remember you. So I always there's legend stories, and then there's stories that are true. So this is one of the stories that I don't know is true or false. You tell me. All right, you're in the street team van. There's Summer Jam. And there's so many people following the beat van that the police pull you over and say you're inciting a riot. Is that true or false?
That's not me. That was Corn Dog.
Okay, so did that actually happen?
It happened to Corn Dog.
What was the story with that?
Actually, it might have happened to both of us. I think it might have happened to both of us. We were like on fire. Hey, let me get something to drink real quick. All right.
Okay, no doubt.
We were around Compton or Linwood, and it was one of the bigger summer jams, and they had pumped it up really bad. And then I remember they set up Corn Dog on like in Linwood somewhere, or no, in Compton, and me in Linwood somewhere. And it was like, they had every jock out at a location.
Okay.
And when they went off, there was just too many people. They saw the van and they knew what was happening. So they were like, get out of here, dude. There's too many people. It's fucking up the parking lot. So we couldn't do it. So yeah, but I think that happened to Corn a couple times, dude.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. So yeah, that happened to me. I think that one time. So.
Well, and that seems so crazy, because you not only were you on air, you were on the street, so you were on the ground of what was really happening. What were some of your moments the memorable moments on the streets that you remember?
Let me see, man. Dude, I remember. I'll tell you a funny story. So one time, this is a crazy story, right? So one time, one time I had a Tercel, and I had these weird, like these, I had, the rims, you need the key to take off the rims, and I had a flat tire.
Right.
So I was already, I worked with Julio on Saturday nights, and I got that the tire, I got the flat on Saturday morning. And then I was like, fuck, I got to drive all the way. I got to drive the beat van all the way to LA, or to Orange County, to get the key and then come back. And I'm like, all right. And then Julio's like, hey bro, I'll roll with you. And I'm all, word, you're gonna roll with me like that? He's like, yeah, dude, I'll roll with you. Let's go. All right. So we get down there, pick up the key, and then on the way back, we're like, yo, I had it like somehow I had like a joint or something, dude.
Right.
And we ended up smoking it somewhere, right? Not in the, I don't know what we were doing. We were smoking somewhere, dude. And then I ended up smoking a joint like with me and then Julio. And then next thing you know, like driving, right? And I'm like, and it was like some crazy weed, right? It was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were driving, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I go, why is fucking everybody staring at us, bro? And he's all, hey, man, I was just thinking the same shit. And then we were just sitting there zoning out, like, right, whatever. And then we drive like a few miles, and then I just see Julio start laughing. And he's all, I go, what, bro? And he goes, bro, we forgot, bro. He goes, we're in the fucking beat van. I go, oh shit. Oh no, we are in the beat van. Dude, I totally forgot I was in the B van, and I was like paranoid. Then after that, I was like, oh shit.
It's always those moments because you get so used to it, and you just like, damn, like what's going on? Because it's in the beat van, everybody's looking at you. It was like the ultimate like limo service to where it was like a celebrity was there at some point. So that's crazy.
That's funny. Crazy. You're driving, and Julio goes, hey, bro, he was laughing. And he's like, bro, we're in the beat van, bro. I go, oh, shit, I forgot, dude. It was funny. That was a funny time. What else? There's what else? I had so many, man. I did so many of those hits. I did a lot, man. I remember one time it was pretty crazy. I had to drive the van with the inflatable, that giant inflatable. I had to drive it to Summer Jam, the giant inflatable, right? So Summer Jam, you start at 6 a.m, you end at like at 11 o'clock at night, and it's work, hot in the sun. And at the very end, like I had the beat van, and I'm all, dude, after we rolled it up and tossed the inflatable in the thing, and that thing's massive, dude.
Yeah, huge.
5 people. So then after we put it in, they're like, oh fuck, I forgot, I can't find the keys. And I looked everywhere, everybody's looking for the keys. And then I go, it's gotta be rolled up in that inflatable, dude. That's where it has to be. And we had to pull it out and roll it all out, and they were right there.
Damn, yeah, that's an all-day event. And so from the streets to Summer Jam, favorite Summer Jam moments. What's like because you were on the stage doing your thing. What were some of your big Summer Jam moments?
I did. I interviewed Johnny Gill, and because everybody was gone, all the jocks were gone. They were trying to head out, and I was only me and like PJ, and we interviewed Stevie Wonder and Johnny Gill.
Oh, how was that?
It was weird because they were talking crazy shit, dude. They were like, Johnny was like, "Oh, Stevie, remember we spent the night at John? Remember because I be staying with Stevie," and he was like staying at Stevie Wonder's house, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm staying with Stevie, man. I've been there like 2 months, man. Remember?" And they start talking all this inside joke shit, and I was like looking at PJ. I was like, "What the fuck? What's really going on?" And then, and then that was funny. And then, oh man, it was like I remember watching the monitor and watching all those Grape Street guys jump on the stage, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
And that was the other thing too, because B.Woods told that story too. And so A1 hits the stage and he tries to calm everybody down. What was your perspective on that Summer Jam? Because I wasn't there at the time where Grape Street just came up and it went crazy. So how did that day play out for you?
Well, it didn't play out for me because at that point I wasn't on full. I don't know. I don't know if I was on. I don't think I was on. No, I wasn't on full time. I was just part time. So when I was on part time and just a street team, that's what it was. Me and Corndog, we were in charge of the second stage.
Okay,
that's it. They gave us one like bring on whoever like the fucking rough ends or something in the beginning. Of the Summer Jam, and then after that, we were in charge of just hosting that second stage the whole time. So as soon as we saw as soon as all that shit started cracking up, we're like, yo, let's go. And me and Corn fucking took off. We're like, fuck this. And we heard everybody over the radio because I had the radio. And I heard everybody screaming. I'm all, yeah, peace. We took
Time
to go. No time to be Superman, man. No way. And then I remember they're like, DJ Quick was in the back of the, like, they're like on the radios, they're like, hey, DJ Quick's what should we do? DJ Quick's in the backstage entrance, and he has about 80 Bloods with him. Like, what should we do? And I'm all, let him in. What are you gonna do? Tell him no? I don't let him in. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna take care of it. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. And then But one of the craziest ones was, I wasn't there, but I had read the story, and I think PJ told me the story. I guess there was a DJ, I forgot who it was, but he got fired from the beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went and he was gonna say that they're racist or something. I don't know what it was, some kind of thing. And he rented a helicopter, right? And he went over the Irvine Meadows. It was called Irvine Meadows at the time.
Yeah.
And he was gonna drop the pamphlets, right? Right? The pamphlets.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the beat, whatever.
Right.
I don't know what his story was. Dude, he starts throwing them, but he doesn't know that when you throw them, the bundles, you got to yank the pull.
Right.
There's like a little string, and you push it, but you hold on to the string so it lets it unrolls. He was tossing them, and those things are falling out like 10-pound bricks. Hitting people on the head and stuff. And I guess he got sued. Everybody got sued. A couple of those things hit people.
That's crazy. And he used to work at the beat doing it, and he rented it.
I don't know. Maybe his boy was a helicopter pilot. I don't know how much.
Yeah, how you get a helicopter on the street?
You're gonna be like, yo, I want to rent a helicopter. How long? An hour?
Exactly.
Whatever.
On a street team budget, like that's crazy.
No, I don't know, but he was like a DJ, or he was on a show. But I remember that, like, I think Tony G was telling me the story, or Julio, one of those. I think it was Tony or Julio was telling me the story, and they're like, yo, those things, the bundles weren't opening, and they were landing like boom,
He throwing bricks at people.
And he got sued for that, dude.
He had to get sued. That's the only way you throwing bricks out helicopters. I mean, that's his claim to fame. That's his joy. And for you, like, and you had such a staple too out here in the West Coast hip hop. What was your relationship like with like the Dub C's, the Snoops, the Quicks, those guys? What was your relationship with all the West Coast hip hop artists?
I had a good, well, of course, my relationship was always, I had a head start because they would come in to interview with Julio, and I would be there because I would be like the assistant or the intern, help getting the mics, getting the headphones, everything ready for the guest. So I would talk. Quick was always nice to me. Quick I remember Quick just stopped by the station one night because he had the Truth, the Truth Hurts.
Yeah.
He had that beat and Truth Hurts wasn't on it yet. And he goes, Cubeechee, what you think about this beat? And I'm like, oh, that's sick, bro. That's ridiculous. Let me have it. I'm gonna use it as a bed to talk over. Nah. And then like 3 or 4 months later, he put out that record. And then with Dub C, it's always been the same thing. We don't run into each other only at events, but he's always been nice. I remember I was interviewing Dub C at the House of Blues in LA, and they're like, hey, do we need to because Dub C was coming, and then they had I had like 2 or 3 other artists come by because it was like during Christmas time or something, and they were doing something, but security was walking in. They'd come in with their own security, and they're like, oh, does Dub C need security? I'm all, yeah, I don't think Dub C needs security, you know what I mean? And then like, and I told them, I go, hey, they asked me if you needed security, and he started like, oh, come on, man, I got my boys with me, we're good. And I'm like,
right, y'all Gucci.
Yeah, and then always cool. A lot of the West Coast artists, like I've been nice with all Alcoholics. Always not good. I was good friends with those guys. They'd always do shows. I'd throw parties. Everybody was pretty cool. The Far Side, those guys are always good. I mean, just think about it. Snoop has always been nice. A nice guy, and I don't really know him that well, but we've been at many events. Actually, you know what? I DJ'd for him a couple times when I did a club in LA called Snatch, and he would show up there. And he would be like, yo, I'm just throw songs on, and I'm just going to do a little concert. Okay, whatever. So I DJ'd for him. Those are like nerve wracking. You know what I mean? Because you don't know if
that's sick. That's sick.
Yeah. So I did that. And then, I worked when I worked at the record label, my groups that I worked with was the Who Riders. So I was always, the Who Riders, Shot Calling,
Big Ballin'. Yep.
Yeah. So I was on the road. I went on the road with those guys through the country. So that was crazy too. So, yeah.
It was just a different energy. And then talk to me about like, so the on when you're full time on the air too. So it's a different thing because you were on the air you had a couple of partners on the air, right? So you had K-Sly and you had LaLa.
Yeah.
And so what was tell me about the journey with K-Sly, and then we get to LaLa.
K-Sly was cool. I mean, LaLa had left to go do MTV. So when she left to go do MTV, we had to search for who's gonna be my co-host. And it was a long search, and we had a lot of people turn in tapes. But there's a way of doing radio in LA, and then there's a way of doing radio in LA. And
right
to this day, there's a way of doing LA, and it's there's a few people that crack the code, you know, that they are enlightened to it, that know, and it's not that. It's if you understand it, you understand it. Julio completely understands it, mastered it. He can go anywhere. He can go anywhere because that's who he is. There is no faking. There is no, you know, check his receipts all day, you know, and there is no side talk. That's what it is. And that's what you have to be. And that's how me too. I'm not a very serious guy. I don't claim to be a serious dude. And I don't claim to be this, other holier than now where I don't do anything. Cause some people are, you know, oh, I don't do this and I don't do that. And I got to do this, you know, I'm just a clown, really. I mean, not a clown, but, you know, I try to have fun.
Yeah. Your energy is always on that level. Yeah.
You know, and Julio, his is like that too. He's a very funny dude, but he's knowledgeable, and he's like a almanac. He knows everything. He's very, very smart. He knows all there is to know, not only about hip hop, but about politics and everything. So he's very educated. Like, that's why when you listen to him, you're like, oh, wow, you know, I'm not just listening to a DJ. You're listening to a DJ who's more than a DJ. That's why people love him so much. And he's a very smart dude. But with the case like, so we had this young thing, and then you realize listening to these tapes, it's just, man, they put all over the country. When you listen to these tapes, you're like, wow, whoever's judging these people is not, I don't know if they've ever been on the radio or not, because it doesn't sound to me, or to whatever. Me and Scorpio and Tawala were listening to a lot of tapes, but then somebody was telling me, you should check out this girl. She's good. She's sassy. She knows how to DJ. She can actually DJ on, like, and be a DJ. And so she came on, and she was spicy, and she was, you know, she wasn't a pushover. You weren't going to talk shit to her, and she wasn't going to say anything back. And she fit well. And I had a lot of fun with her. And we did a lot of many good shows together, but it was funny because she's so easy to piss off, you know?
Did y'all ever get into it? Like,
all the time, constantly. And the funny thing about it is we would have these arguments off the air, but I would record them in the Vox Pro. And then when she would leave, I'd play them on the air. And she would fucking get pissed, man. I would record.
What was the arguments about? What was
about anything? It would be about, like, maybe if I hogged the interview, or if Eddie G didn't do something, and then I'd stick up for Eddie G, or whatever. I mean, it was just all in good fun. Or she would have a bad day, or I would do something. We didn't have really, really heated arguments. We would disagree, but heated arguments, you know, she's stubborn and stuff, but, you know, nothing major, like crazy. It was just always in good fun. But, you know, so that was funny. You know, that was cool. We had a good time. It was good.
And then with LaLa, and so LaLa, so how did that relationship begin, and how did you guys get together?
She got to do middays. She got the midday job, came from Atlanta, did the midday job. And when she got the midday job, I would walk by during the day, and she'd be like, hey, what's your name? And then we just started talking, and then she'd be like, she goes, oh yeah. And then we just hit it off. We just talk shit, and we talk. And then she's Puerto Rican and I'm Cuban. So we were just talking, and we whatever. And then when I was broadcasting from the Universal Amphitheater, she came by and then hung out, and then they heard us, and then we became on the radio, and we did really well. On the radio. We're like top 3 all the time. My shows in general, we were always in the top 3. And then with I think with K-Sly, one time we were number 1 once, and then number 1 and 2, and then with LaLa we were always top 3. But it was different. Like, LaLa was just very, very, like, easygoing. She knew a lot of people. She was walking around. She didn't have any, you know, she was just very easygoing, very approachable, you know, a very fun girl, dude. I still talk to her. She hits me up all the time on Instagram and stuff. So, you know.
Oh, that's dope. And then it was that one thing. There was a KCOP show that she got, the local show. I think she was it was a Channel 13 KCOP show, and then it was just her, and I think it was supposed to be both of you guys. Was that ever an issue
with LaLa?
Yeah, with LaLa. Yeah,
I don't remember. I think it was. No, I didn't become an issue because I was busy at that time. I was doing that stuff, but I was also DJing a lot. I was DJing, and I had my other shows that I was doing too. So I was like, yo, that's fine. It's cool. There was never had any bad blood with that. But, you know, at that time when I was on the radio, I was DJing a lot in the city and in Vegas. I was going back and forth in the city, you know, back from Vegas to LA, Vegas to LA. So it was cool. You know, those were like crazy times, man. Crazy times.
And then when La tells you, and what's the conversation like when La says she's got to go, and what happened with that conversation?
Nah, she told me that she's gonna try out for that they called her. She wanted to try out for MTV, and I told her right away, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, 100%. You're gonna get it. And she's like, oh, don't say that. They're not gonna. I go, no, you're gonna get it because you're good looking. You could talk on the mic. You could speak Spanish. You're Puerto Rican. You're Puerto Rican and black, and you're friends with all these people. She was on the radio with Ludacris. She knew these people, and I knew it. And she did well on there. She was on there with Clue and all that stuff. She had me on there a couple times, so on her like the MTV show and stuff. I was gonna get on there, but then when I started somebody showed me like some numbers on stuff, and I was like, wow. Like to be a VJ in New York and make that shitty money that fucking she wasn't making. I know her contract was really good, but other people are making shitty money, and just because you're on the radio, but you're on TV, you're on MTV, but you can't live in Manhattan.
Right.
They're not paying you enough money.
That's
a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan is $3,500.
So
So that's a fucking wrap, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah,
you're on MTV once a week. Fuck that,
Yeah, that's the thing too, because you gotta get those jobs and you gotta flip them to something else that's gonna make you some bread. But in the meantime, that's all you're gonna be eating is bread, literally. So
that's like with everything, man. Like there's only a certain time. I think I walk through the world and I go, man, people think that they're gonna be around on this earth for a long time. It's not a long time. It's very short. Very short what you got, and you gotta wake up every morning and go do something. Get out there because it's very, very short. Just like I'm talking to you, it didn't seem like 20 years ago that we were together.
Real talk.
It's real fast, and people forget that when you die, you don't get a second take. You die and you're gone, and we don't know where you go. Some people say you go to heaven. You might go this, you might do that. Who knows? We don't know. I don't know. I mean, whatever your religion is, and that tells you whatever it is, that's cool, and that's what you believe in. That's what's great about the world. I get to believe what I want to believe in. You get to believe what you want to believe in. But one thing is clear, and like I just seen Denzel Washington when he was talking to the Dodgers, or whatever. One thing's for sure, like you never see a hearse with a U-Haul truck behind it.
Real talk.
Because you can't take it with you.
Real talk.
No matter who you are, no matter how much money, you can't take it with you. You can leave it here, or leave a legacy, or leave something that people are going to be like, remember that crazy motherfucker? But you'll leave something and make somebody smile one day, and they're going to be like, fuck, remember when he did this? Like we're smiling now and talking about this old shit. People forget, man, and they forget. And I see these people all the time wasting their time, man, and it's very short. I'm telling you, man. Very, very short. You got to fucking do everything you can, raise your kids well, try to make some kind of fucking notch. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, Woods did this. You don't want to be one of those guys that lives in I've gone in so many funerals. It's ridiculous. And I go, fuck, these guys die young. This guy was just telling me the other day, he had plans for what he was going to do 5 years from now. And now he's dead. You know what I'm saying?
And especially
four or five of my friends died this year.
It seems a lot more like, it seems like more people are, I don't know if it's because we're getting older, but it really does feel like that. And then when it comes like to your career, especially like at the beat, did you feel like you squeezed everything out of that situation?
I squeezed I was the last person to leave that radio station. They didn't let me go. They kept my contract. They kept my contract. They fired everybody and they kept my fucking which is great. I didn't care. But they started letting all the DJs go, and they kept my contract. And they kept on paying me for like 6 months after it's gone. Like I'm just getting checks, and I'm like, I'm calling because I talked to my at that point I was dating this girl, and I had an account, and I'm like, I need to call these people because they keep on sending me money, and I don't want to use it.
Pay them back,
yeah. They're like, yo, you got to give it back, and they're like, no, you got something coming to like September, and then we're talking like February. The shit's over. Nobody's at the radio station. They had almost already changed. I didn't know anybody when I went up there. And then I just saw like a couple of the salespeople, and that's it. And I'd go up there and I'd pick up my check, and I was like, okay. And then I'd call, and then I called the union, and I'm like, what? They're like, hey, if they're paying you, it doesn't matter. Like, remember, they're paying you out your contract. So, I mean, you can go look for another job because, the compete clause, it doesn't work in California. The non-compete clause, it doesn't work. It doesn't, there's no they can't legally tell you can't provide, you know what I mean?
Right. And so like, just so what happened with you, like when because the beat's the beat and it's popping, and then one day it's not like, what's that conversation internally in the office, and are you tripping, or are you just like, well, I'll just DJ if this shit falls out or whatever?
Well, I thought I would get. I thought for sure I was gonna get a call from another radio station, and I did. And then when I did get a call from the radio station, then they had me pretty close.
What, at Power?
It was at, I forgot if, no, it wasn't at Power. It was maybe at Power. It might have been at Power. I'm not sure, but we were close. And then they were like, no, like whoever the head person was like, nah, his name is like, whenever you think of his name to LA listeners, they're going to think of 90, they're going to think of 100.3, whether the 100.3 is the beat, whether the 100.3 or 92.3 is whatever it is, they're not going to associate his name with Power 106. They're going to associate it with whatever's over there. So that's what they told me. It's probably bullshit, but whatever. I don't care. But what I did, I ended up, I was dating a girl. I ended up just, and my manager, Sujit, at the time was like, oh, fuck it. You'll make more money on the road DJing. That's for sure. Because at that point, DJ AM was a good friend of mine. He was already like, Vegas was doing these big deals for DJs and all these hotels and new nightclubs were signing DJs to big deals, $1 million deals and stuff. And then I ended up getting a deal for Pure Management, which that was just one night a month or 2 nights a month or something, 1 night a month, but it was a good amount of money. Right. And after that, so I had that for 12 months, and then I would just fill in the rest of the weekends and the rest of the days, and Sujit would have me DJing all over the country. So then I started just on the road, and I was in the circuit, and I was just doing clubs after clubs after clubs every weekend. Good money. We're talking really good money,
And that's sick. And did you miss the radio station at all once that happened, or was it an easy transition it was an easy transition, but then like after a year, then I started missing it because I had a girlfriend at the time. I was living with her. We were talking about having a kid. And then I was gone a lot. So she would have all these, she was an actress, so she had movies and stuff. And then I would miss a lot of stuff because I was gone, and then I was always gone. And then when I was in LA, I had residencies in LA. So when I wasn't on the road, like, normal people, normal human beings like to go out on a Friday and have dinner, Saturday and have dinner. But I hadn't had that. None of the DJs ever have that, because Fridays and Saturdays when you work. So then I would be on the road, and then when I would come home off the road, like on Monday, we would be together. And then she's, oh, want to go? Can you go with me on Friday? No, I got to work. Where are you working at? I just got a residency every Friday at Coco de Ville in Hollywood. Oh, okay. So I'm there every Friday, no matter what. And then Saturdays would be a rotating. I would go to different places. So I did that for a long time. Yeah,
and radio wasn't really. I mean, I was, I got, what they did offer me. I got offered a job, but they weren't even seeing. I told them to match what I was making at the beat, and they couldn't, because I got paid at the beat.
Right, yeah. And just doing that too, because you have the highly publicized relationship.
Yeah, I was dating Jamie Presley. I have a child with Jamie, the actress Jamie Presley. Our son's 15, but at that time I was dating her and working at the radio station and DJing all over the place.
So now, is she on My Name Is Earl at the time, or is she?
She had just she was just working on My Name Is Earl, because I remember she was working on the pilot, and then she'd call me at the radio station, and I gave him a shout out one time, and she was in her trailer, and Jay Celine, and I gave them a shout out, and I didn't even know who they were. I think I knew who Ethan was, but not really. But then I gave him a shout out, she was doing My Name Is Earl, but I had known Jamie. I had known Jamie before we dated. I'd known her for like 10 years because.
How did you guys meet?
Well, we met a long time ago. Well, this is a funny story. I was DJing in Orange County doing whatever. They called me, and she hadn't done My Name Is Earl. She hadn't done like none of the TV, none of the movies or anything, but she was doing like Jack and Jill or something on TV. And then they're like, hey, this chick she had done like Joe Dirt. And then they're like, this girl wants you to DJ her party, and she knows who you are, and she wants you to DJ. She's going to pay you or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that was like on a Saturday, but that Saturday, my buddies had all come in from out of town, and they were going to come to my club. So I called up my buddy Gary, Long Island, and I go, hey, go DJ this chick's party, bro. My boys are coming in. And he's like, okay. And he went there, and she was pissed. She's like, I fucking paid for Eric to be here, not you. Where's Eric? They're like, he couldn't make it. So whatever. She was pissed. They told me she was mad. Well, she showed up at my birthday party like a year later, And she's like, you fucking owe me. You owe me. And I'm all, I don't know. I don't even know who you are. And she's all, I'm Jamie Presley, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, and like, I was like, oh, wow, she's feisty and she's hot, you know? So, and I'm okay. So we started, yeah, whatever. We were really flirting with each other. And I'm okay, I'll do something for free, whatever. So you fast forward, we run into each other here and there. And then she had me come, she wanted to do the music for one of her fashion shows. And she had a fashion line and she wanted me to like be the music supervisor for her fashion show. And I said, yeah, I can do that and put together the mix. DJ AM had done it in the past, but he had died. So he had died he didn't die at the time. I'm sorry. He was already busy doing something, but he had died or he had done something and or he had gotten hurt or the plane crash or something. No. I'm sorry. He was still alive. It was perfect. He had no time to do it. And okay. I think Vice had done it before. But anyways, she had run into my manager, Sujit, and Vice in New York. And she's like, where's Eric? And then they called me from there. And she's all, I need you to do, or she told Vice, I needed you to do this music. She's all, get Eric to do it. Eric's good. And you know him. And she's like, okay. So she called me. And then I went to her house. And then I did that for her. And then we just started talking, had a couple drinks. And then we just started hitting it off. And then we were together for like 5 or 6, 7 years or something like that. And then we had a kid. And, you know, now we just co-parent, you know, that's it. Our son's 15, you know, we do what we, you know, we just co-parent together, you know, we don't, right. You know, we don't do none of that. Like we just co-parent and that's it.
And you think with the relationship, a lot of the stress of the relationship was because of you DJing and not being there. And was that
it 100%. It was all because of that. It's all because I was, not only that, it's very hard. It's very hard. She was on TV at the time and she was a pretty big actress. And then I was a DJ, but see, you know, we go to her shit and it's her shit, but you know, her stuff and she would get all the thing, but then she would go to my stuff and people didn't really care like who she was. You know, we go to a hip hop event or a concert or a club and people were like, yo, E, what up? You know how it goes, dude.
Right.
Like, that white girl, you know? And so, you know, I don't know if it wasn't any kind of weird. It wasn't no weirdness or something. It was like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for like somebody to see that somebody else is doing it. You know what I mean? So, and then I was always gone. And then there was always, you know, whenever we go somewhere, we do, you know, then we get to have some drinks and arguments and, you know, regular stuff. But I mean, it was very 100%. If I would have just been on the radio and just not been a traveling DJ, we would still be together because we had a great relationship for a long, long time. But me leaving and being gone and then, you know, drinks and stuff like that, it didn't help, you know, and I was always gone. I was gone a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then when she had my son, and then I still had to go because I needed to make money. I don't make money sitting around. If I don't show up, I don't get paid. So, and I had big contracts and I had to go. So then, you know, you just grow apart, dude. I'm gone all the time. She thinks I'm cheating on her, you know, and then whatever and all this stuff. And word gets out and then he was up here and then that and that. But I mean, we're still friends. We've been friends I've known her since 1995. Like, so I've known her a long time. So we don't really talk much these days. I take care of my son when he's with me. I communicate with my son. I don't really talk to her that much just because it's just like, she says irks me. Some of the things she says,
right.
She knows what to say to piss me off. And so I don't even deal with it. I'm just like, right. I don't need to talk to you. I just talk to my son and that's it. But we're cordial. So that's all there is. I have no hate. I don't talk shit about her. She don't mention me and I don't do nothing. She had 2 kids with another guy I know the guy, the father, and he's a nice guy too. I see him every once in a while and everything's cool. You know, you grow up out of these things. It's not like, you know, if I was 25, 30 years old, then I would be a lot more fucking pissed and fuck this chick and whatever. But I've already passed that, man. You know,
yeah, and it's so interesting because the dynamics of an industry relation versus a regular relationships. Would you say yay or nay to that? Like if you look at like a Kanye Kim situation, for instance, or those type of situations. What's your opinion on that? Industry relationships.
I've had other relationships with other girls that are like not famous, but you know, whatever, they're in big parts. Some girls that are actresses too, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't really. You know what's funny is that I never really looked at Jamie because I knew her before, so I always looked at her as the Jamie that I knew. Like I knew she was an actress, I knew I was on TV, but it was nothing. It wasn't a big deal to me because I'm also in a field of myself where I see all these rappers and R&B artists and musicians all the time, and I interview them, and sometimes I've hung out with them and I've had drinks with them, and so you understand that these are all just people, you know, and they got these cool jobs. But It never irked me. I mean, no, it's nothing. And and she told me this, and even Jamie told me this. There's a way, it's not a coincidence that you see all of their shit everywhere. It's not a coincidence that you just don't see. You see Kanye West, whatever he says, it's front page news. There's no coincidence that Kim, wherever she goes, they're taking pictures, and that everything she says or does. That's not a coincidence. If you want to keep it quiet, you can keep it quiet.
Right.
All wants to get out. These publicists are these mad scientists, man, and they want to keep. Hey, if you don't do this, why don't we just release this little bits and it'll keep you in the mix? At one point, you don't need to be in the mix, right?
Yeah.
You let other people be in the mix. Keep that alone. You're already 45, 40 years old. Let somebody else do that, man. It gets old, man. It gets old, and then these people. And it's not even funny when you watch these people, they all have midlife crisis and these fucking one of the probably the worst times in their lives, and it's publicized and everybody's seen it. Right.
Right. And it makes it so, and I think like the fundamentals of just like relationships, it's hard enough, even if you're not in the spotlight, and it's just like the communication. And it's just like when you add all these other elements to it, like even in social media, right?
Right.
You can be on social media, and as soon as you say, hey, I'm in a relationship, somehow problems arise in your relationship.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but imagine like, dude, I don't know what Kanye's doing. I don't know what the chick is doing, but you gotta always, when you make these steps and you say these things, you always gotta think that you have children, and your children go to school, and they go to school with kids, and some kids don't give a fuck, and they will say whatever it says. So these kids, dude, you can't even imagine the daughter, whatever her name is, imagine her going somewhere, right? Everybody knows who her mom is. Everybody knows who her dad is. Everybody knows what her dad just said. Everybody knows what their mom just said. Everybody knows their mom is fucking doing whatever with another fucking that Pete Davidson dude, and Kanye's out here doing whatever he's doing, running around with a fucking mask on his head and all that shit.
Right.
But, that's fucking great. You're a grown adult. Do whatever the fuck you want. But you don't do shit like that. When you got a daughter, you got to think about that, because now this girl, what is she going to do, man? Wherever she goes, somebody's going to bring up her fucking parents. And some people are going to fucking say, oh, your parents are great, and some people are not going to say that. But you got to think about that, and I don't think they think about that. That's a part of that whole shit, that the narcissists, they're all narcissists. All they believe is in what they want to believe in, and in themselves. They don't give a fuck what happens to the mother, to the grandmother, to the fucking sister, as long as they get people of, oh wow, yeah, I don't even know where do they go? Why do they want to be famous? So people can go, hey, that's Kim Kardashian or something. I mean, you know what I mean? But
right, no, definitely.
Those 4 kids are going to have to deal with that. When that girl's 18, what do you think is going to happen? Or even when that little girl, when she can go to school without security, and the first kid that's got a big mouth is going to be like, hey, what's up with your dad? Your dad's crazy. Nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean?
and that's the other thing too, because the kids almost become becoming a novelty almost, as opposed to just like an ornament, as opposed to just a priority, because it's just something to talk about in the public's eye, and it does, like, and these are human beings that you're talking about, and so it becomes very much difficult to have a relationship, not just with your significant other, but your kids, because they have to deal with these unique ass problems. And what do you say to your kids when people are teasing them about mom and dad? So
yeah, dude, there's nothing you can say about it, and there's nothing else. There's nothing. Remember, whenever Kanye goes up here and does all the stuff, you can't take that back. You can't take that back. It's already out there. Once it's out there, that's why, like, that when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, there's nothing in the world that would, if I was Chris Rock, there's nothing in the world you can tell me that I would accept any kind of apology for that. That is completely out of hand, and that's going to go on forever.
Right.
Forever. And it's going to be broadcast for 50 years from now. They're going to show it. They might not play fucking Beyonce's music 50 years from now. They might not play the Kim Kardashian or Kanye. 50 years from now, that slap is still going to be relevant. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's why that movie's gonna shit. I'm sure the movie's pretty good. The Emancipation movie that was, but I don't see people watching that. I mean, I don't think people are gonna. People don't really watch Apple TV anyways. You know what I'm saying? They watch what's it called, Netflix and Hulu. Nobody's watching Apple Plus. You got to have all sorts of crazy devices. But who knows? Supposedly it's a good movie. I tried to watch like the first half an hour of it, and then I was so fucking like, fucking Will Smith. I don't even want to see him, dude. Like,
and that's the thing too. So it's so crazy too, because I can kind of like I can look at the art without looking at all the personal shit and kind of look at it objectively, but I'm very unique in that sense. It's almost like what happened when Kobe had his situation. Everybody, I was like, that's still Kobe, you know, but a lot of people held on to that even in Denver. And so it's a different thing. And then when it comes down to it, it's just like, all right, cool. There are a lot of people that'll be like, I don't give a fuck. That thing, it's whatever your personal experience is going to make you feel like I'm going to still rock with this person or I'm not. Because I've heard a lot of people say, you know what, I see myself in Chris Rock. And so every time I see Will Smith, I can't rock with him the same way.
I wouldn't even rock with that because I don't me or like people that I like hang out with or whatever, my kind of people that I hang out with, we can't let that one can't slide, man.
I mean, especially LA, it's a little bit different out here.
I remember watching like the first 20 minutes of it. I'm like, fuck this guy, dude. I can't even.
Right.
And then I saw his shitty ass apology when he basically apologized to himself. He was like, oh, you know, I gotta forgive myself. Sometimes I gotta learn how to forgive myself. Really? Man, you're blowing it. But that's what happens, man. This is what happens. Like you get so detached and like I said, man, these narcissist traits, they all have narcissist traits. What happens with the narcissist traits when they start fucking losing everything that makes them feel like they're so high and mighty, they abuse others.
And that's the thing too, and just, you know, the little celebrity, you know, that, you know, like you had or whatever, you have to know when to be grounded. I remember even when, and I'm not nowhere, I'm like an F- type of person, but even when I was on the street team, I was feeling myself, you know,
right,
and I was just like, yo, you know, I'm B.Woods and this, that, and the other. And then I come home one day and somebody's just like, I need to speak to B.Woods, and then they didn't even say hello to my brother. And he was just like, I don't give a fuck about this B.Woods shit. You're Brent here. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm B.Woods. He was like, no, you're not. You fucking Brent. So we go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then it just let me know that you have to, if you don't have a solid foundation, you'll allow yourself to take it to the next level, to the point to where you'll shit on the people that love you. And I think that with these celebrities, it's the same thing. They don't have anybody there to kind of like the helium is in the balloon, and they don't have a string to pull them back to reality. Yeah. And that's it's too far once you hit them clouds.
Yeah. And you know, they got fucking psychopathic fucking behavior, man. Like, you know, you can't, you know, it's tough. I mean, look, you got Will Smith doing that stuff. You got his wife. His wife is on some trippy shit too. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it's very hard for me to understand how, like, I mean, she talks to him like I saw part of it. And like, I would never let nobody talk to me like that. It can't happen, dude. It won't happen. There's no possible way. And he just sits there and he just, you know, I don't know what their thing is, man. It's just it's so complex and probably just fucking. My brain short circuits whenever I see shit like that. And then, you know, and then you got like the kids, they're all tripping too. I mean, they're whatever. They I guess that's what they do. I don't even give a shit. Whatever. Go do all that shit, but then don't come over here and try to pull the wool over my eyes. Go slap this dude, then say that you're fucking normal. You know?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's just like you insulting people's intelligence. And so now you're at the next stage of your life too. And then I saw on your Facebook page too, it's just like you completely you're sober living now.
Yeah.
You're not drinking anymore. And congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's huge. And so, I mean, what brought on the sobriety and where is it now?
No, I've been sober. What is it? 2 years? August, September, October, November, December. Like 2 years, 5 months. Haven't drank anything. Haven't drank any kind of no alcohol, no cigarettes. I used to smoke, nothing, no weed. I don't do drugs. I don't do nothing. Nothing. I've done it, had enough of it, partied since I was 18, drank all the time, drank so much, drank a lot, went all around the country, went all around the world, drank, and just I didn't need it anymore. You know, I got heavy, I got fat, and then it was just after, like, before the pandemic, I was really bummed out. I was depressed. There wasn't a lot of DJing going on. I had a situation with some girls that girl that made me sad. And I just found myself like just drinking all the time, even when I wasn't working, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And I just woke up one day and I was like, fuck it, I'm done. And then it was right before the pandemic. And then I was staying home and I didn't want to go out. And I got heavy. I got pretty heavy. I was big, fat, and not super fat, but I was just heavy. And then I said, fuck this. And I'm like, I'm not made for this. This isn't what I was put here for. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I just, one day I didn't go to AA. My dad's an alcoholic, and you know, he'll tell you he goes to AA classes all the time. My mom's never drank in her life, really, and then she never smoked. My dad is a recovering alcoholic, but I didn't go to AA. I didn't take a class. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't do nothing. All I remember was thinking about was my son, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna die of a heart attack or something because I'm fat and I drank too much and I partied too much. And my son, that's the last thing that my son's, you know, that's what he's gonna die. I don't want my son to go through that, you know?
Right.
So I woke up one day and that was it. I decided not to drink, and that's it. That was 2 years and 6 months. And I just started working out, and I work out, and then I started working out, and I started slimming down and slimming down and slimming down and slimming down. And now it's been 2 years, 6 months. Haven't drank anything. I run about 3 miles every morning, and I weigh like 155, 150, something like that. Or like 155, between 155, 160.
Wow.
And I was up to like 200 pounds, like 205.
That is amazing.
205, 210. That's how my biggest I got. And I was fat. I had a size 36 waist or something. And now I have a size like 32, 31. I fucking work out every day. And I didn't need a book. I didn't need fucking none. I just did it. You have to want to do it. And I did it for me, and I did it for my family, did it for my son, you know, and I had to do it. And I had to do it then, because you can't wait till you have a stroke and then decide you want to stop drinking.
Right.
So I tell these people, oh, now that you're sick and you're on a ventilator, now you want to take your fucking COVID vaccine. You should have thought about that. When you're sick, or when you can avoid some stuff, and you don't think about yourself. You think about what happens if you go into the hospital because you were out fucking drunk driving or something, or snorting coke or doing something crazy, and you get in the hospital. Your parents and your family, they got to come spend their days crying. They're going to cry many sleepless nights, you know? That's what I thought about me. I thought about my mom, my son, and I never looked back. I just kept going. Now I go to the gym every day. I could wear whatever I want. I could basically eat every I want, because I burn every morning. I might miss one day running. I missed one day running yesterday, the day before, but it's because it got so cold.
Right.
Joints are all fucked up from running so much. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I got to do something, go to the doctor to check out, because something's not right. Like I wake up and everything's just stiff, but it's probably the coldness, you know?
Yeah, it's probably. And everything. Do you talk to anybody about just like when you were going through your sobriety or anything like that, or was it all just an internal thing? And
I talked to my brother, but I never told anybody what I was trying to do. I never went, you know, I'm doing this. I would reach a milestone, and then I would call my mom and I go, guess what? She's like, what? Guess what today is? What? I haven't drank in 3 months. And she's like, oh, good job. And I call my brother and be like, hey dude, I haven't drank. I'm down to like this. And it takes a long time. But my weight went down. My energy went up. I got happy. I started thinking more. My brain is fucking clear. My brain wasn't clear when I was drinking a lot and smoking and out. I mean, I had party. I had learned. That's what I was taught since I was 18. When you're the DJ, you're having drinks, all that, until you get to a certain level. Now my head is so clear, and I read a lot, and I listen a lot. I listen more than I talk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I think I have my brain, it just fires off all day, just different ideas, different everything. I figure out things. I still read, and I watch a lot of just different things. It's my side shit besides DJing and doing the stuff that I do is just, you know, I like to learn about a little bit about everything. Why not? Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk to anybody. I talked to them when I accomplished something. I didn't talk to them during. I would accomplish something, and then I would call my brother or my mom. Then I would accomplish something, and I'd tell my friends. Then we go to a club, and my friends would be like, "You want to drink?" I go, "Dude, I don't drink." What? When'd you stop drinking? Dude, like 6 months ago. No shit. No wonder you look so thin. And then, as soon as you get your first couple compliments, man, you fucking losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, well, I'll check me out in 3 months, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the experience of the club, not so much not drinking, but do you enjoy it? Just the whole, I mean, because when you're learning and you're a little bit older, you're wiser. Does the experience of DJing and being in the club, does it have that same magic, or is it just work now?
No, it has the same. I actually, it's funny. I do a lot of, like, I have my residencies now, but I do a lot of like these different corporate events and stuff too, and private things, right, for people and for companies. And I enjoy those. You don't have to be in a loud club and all this shit, and you know what you got to do. You go there. Like, I just did this thing for TikTok. You go there, 3 hours, boom, 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 DJ out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't got to deal with these bar managers that think they know everything about how to fucking run a playlist. You ain't got to deal with shitty equipment. You ain't got to deal with all these drunks, nothing. But then on Saturday, I had to do a club, and it was the same thing, all these drunks and everything everywhere. I still enjoy it. I like listening to music in a different level now. Before, just going there and get ripped, and sometimes I'd get in trouble because I would drink too much. But then, you're drinking with these promoters. You're up there DJing. Promoters are coming in there. They're pouring shots. The guy that bought the $10,000 table sends you a couple shots over of this Johnny Blue Label, and then you're drinking that, and then you get a champagne, and then these guys bring over shots, and then you leave. That's one day in Vegas or in LA. Then the next day you're in Vegas. You land in Vegas. You go to the pool because it's 110 degrees. Your buddy's DJing out there. They start, hey, let's take some shots. You take some shots. Okay, I want to go back to my room. I go back to my room. I get up. I got to go DJ, but I'm DJing. But then it's a new promoter that's running the promotion. So he's like, yo, I got your bottle. Let's go. Let's have some shots. You can't tell them I'm not going to drink. They're paying a few grand for you to come DJ. All right. You're done there. Sunday. Oh, we got to fly out to Atlantic City. You fly to Atlantic City. You get there. It's 6 hours, whatever travel time. You get there. You go on at midnight. Let's have some more drinks. You get home fucking Monday morning, fucking just tore it apart,
Right.
Eating shitty, no exercise, all that. That's the life of the DJs usually. But what I have seen is a lot of the DJs that I came up with, they've all started like either slowing down their drinking or not drinking, which is good, man. It's good because I'm telling you, man, I've seen it. These guys are everybody. And I just at the grocery store the other day, and I ran into some guy that I knew, and we were talking. I'm like, so imagine that, dude. You're just still wilding out in your 40s or whatever, and then you fucking have a heart attack or a stroke, and you're left partially paralyzed or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I had a heart attack. I don't know if it was.
Shit.
I had a heart attack and high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Well, how did it happen? Just hereditary, or
it was hereditary, but then the same thing when I checked back in with my doctor, he was saying because of what you do, it's exactly what you said. You live this party lifestyle, so to speak. So it's just, even if you're not even going hard, it's just what people do for recreation, you do for a career. So right. That includes the food, that includes the alcohol, that includes this. And so even it's just the minimal that you do is still more than the average person. So because even if you're doing it on a Friday and Friday and a Saturday, but you do that for a year and it goes for 2 years, it's for your body. It's just not the business. And so, yeah, it took me by surprise because I'm a relatively young dude.
Yeah.
I'm in the hospital and they talking about like,
how old were you when you had the heart attack?
I was a couple of years old, younger. Yeah, it was like last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was a stroke or heart attack?
It was a stroke.
Wow. Were you partially paralyzed anywhere?
No, I wasn't. Luckily,
I got lucky, man.
I got lucky. And so it was just one of those things to where the diet is super important and the lifestyle is you have to kind of make a sacrifice. Like I'm used to doing it. And a lot of it is just patterns of behavior. But at the same time, I just know like, okay, I have to know when to say when, and I have to eat differently. And I have to,
I don't eat shit food unless I don't eat, like I'll eat, maybe if I'm with my son once a week. My diet consists of eggs, fucking cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese, eggs, blueberries, apples, bananas, some almond butter, maybe chicken and some steak, that's it. I don't veer off. I don't eat anything fucking, I don't eat donuts. I don't eat chips. I don't eat anything too greasy. If I do, it's maybe one time. If I eat a burger, I don't eat bread. I don't eat carbs. I don't eat pasta, nothing of that shit. But and you exercise. I exercise every day. So that really helps, you could tell I feel sick. Like the other day I took like, it's a cheat day and I ate like a fucking, what did I eat? I think I ate a full, like, no, I had a slice of pizza and I ate some onion rings and I was sick. I was like,
No kidding.
I felt like shit. And I was like, my stomach. And like, but yeah, man, you got to take care of yourself, man. I'm glad that you recovered well, man, from the heart attack. Scary shit. Where were you at when they had it?
I was in Long Beach at my girl spot. And I just was feeling weird. I was just like, it felt like somebody was just kind of knocking on my chest and my back at the same time. And I was actually about to go to the because you get used to these pains and these little aches because you're just it's the lifestyle that you live. And so I was like, let me just go to the gym because I just enjoy going. So I was about to just jump on the treadmill and just start running. And if I would have went to the treadmill, I would have probably not be talking to you right now. So instead of that, I just called Kaiser. And they when you call the hospital, they ask you random questions in a really nice voice, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you feeling on your arm? And I'm like, I'm answering it like shit. I'm about to get a B+ on this shit. Watch, about a 7, about a 6 on this one, about a 5 on this one, 4, and then I want to know the grand total. They're like, you should probably come in now because you're having a fucking heart attack.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
What were you doing the night before? Were you partying, drinking or anything or no?
I wasn't doing anything. I probably had a drink, but it wasn't anything crazy. But it was more of, I think it was it's hereditary because my mom, she passed away from a heart attack.
Oh.
And so a lot of it just has to do with her, it was stress. She was going through a lot of financial things at the time. Right. And it's hereditary. So it's all these little micro things that have an effect, and then that's why you see in so many people just get these crazy ass dying or having strokes or having heart attacks, because it has to be a lifestyle shift. We're so used to eating a certain way and it's used to doing it, and then we in the business, we've been doing this for over 20 years. So we have to pay attention even more.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Wow, that's crazy, man. I'm glad to hear that you're all right, man.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. And for you, what's next for Eric? Because like everything seems to be in a dope space for you right now. Like you're feeling good, you're looking good, you're out here running. What's next on the Cubeechee playing?
I'm gonna start this podcast. I've been working on this podcast that I've wanted to do for a long time, but it's coming along. I'm gonna start it probably January. I was gonna start doing. I already started doing some runs on it because I'm trying to put something together. Like I'm just gonna do it for my house, but then I got other people that want to get involved, and I got I'll talk to my man Sujit about some stuff that we're gonna do with the Twitch, and so I might do it all like a Twitch and everything combined, Twitch and the YouTube and then a podcast, but it's going to be cool. I got a lot of friends that I know that are willing to come. I know I have a lot of DJ friends that are willing to do some stuff, but Melody, he has a cool Twitch thing that he does, a stream, and I saw it and looks really good. So maybe something like that maybe something like on Twitch like that, but I don't want to do just DJing. I want to just do like talking,
right.
And interviewing people. I think that'd probably be my better spot. And then if I DJ, I'll play on, or just do like how PJ does, he plays the slow jams, but just have a variety show of every night, from 10 to whatever it'll be like, and I'm just going to play music, but I'm going to call it the Lounge Act.
Right.
That's what it's called. The Lounge Act.
The Lounge Act. Yeah.
It's like Vegas. That. You're like, when remember in the 60s, it'd be like, hey, we're going to go. Oh yeah. He's playing. He's the Lounge Act. Cause the Lounge Act, there's like, Vegas has like the top tier of the people that are Elvis, fucking Frank Sinatra, Martin, that they're like the main room. They're like the premiere. Then there's like the inside of the hotel, the featuring whatever. Then there's the fucking Lounge Act. Yeah. That's right there. So it's gonna be called the Lounge Act. And then what happens at the Lounge Act? Nobody knows. It's the Lounge Act isn't nobody. That's why it's called the Lounge Act. Nobody knows. It's not called the hip hop. So the Lounge Act will consist of different artists, different genres, different things. Like today, it'll be like the Beyonce Lounge. Yeah. The Lounge Act. Today. Oh, look at that. I have the theme to Dracula is like my ring camera in the back.
Doorbell ring. Yeah.
So my house sounds like the Dracula thing. So it'll be like, Monday could be, hey, join me Monday. The lounge act is gonna be the Beyonce lounge, and we'll play 2 hours. We'll go through all the shit, whatever. And then the next day it could be, hey, join the lounge act. It's gonna be Guns N' Roses lounge.
Okay,
Or
sick.
it could be, the lounge act with it's the Rockefeller Lounge.
Yes,
Right, whatever.
indeed.
Everything will be lounge. So it'll be you can play whatever music. It can be any kind of genre. It could be the comedy lounge, and I could call like one of my comedian friends or something, or it could be the Spanish lounge, the Mark Anthony lounge, the
Right.
lounge. So you don't, because everybody does one thing and then they stick to that. I don't want to do that. I want to just be a fucking variety show. So
yeah, I think that would be sick, and I think your story is important too, and I think your interviews would be just is crazy because your relationships.
And it's funny because I talked to a lot of DJs. Like Vice is a good friend of mine, and like sometimes I think who was I talking to the other day? I go, hey, do you ever because I call them randomly. I'll call one of my, all of us DJs, we kind of like know each other. So if you don't hear from somebody in a long time, it doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just means that they got other shit going on. But then
right.
Like me and you, I haven't talked to you in a long time, but we pick it up right away. There's
absolutely
we through a lot of stuff. So then like I called up, was it Vice? And I go, hey dude, do you ever have the morning cringe moments? And he's all, what do you mean? I go, do you ever wake up and like remember of something that you did or something that you played or something that happened in a nightclub while you were drinking or whatever, or even if you weren't drinking, and you go, oh man. And he goes, all the time. Okay.
Those moments where you're like, that wasn't the one.
I remember having those, man. I was like, oh no, like, oh fuck, I cannot believe I did that. Or like, dude, I remember one year I was with Jamie and I played in Vegas. I played at the Palms, dude, and they put me on at like 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve, like 12:30, right? 12:30 in New Year's Eve in Vegas. Meanwhile, I had gone to dinner at 7 o'clock. So to say I was a little fucked up is a fucking understatement. So anyway,
you were all over it. But what you play? What you play? Something crazy?
It's funny how I played Gold Digger. Right? And they're like, oh, that was when Gold Digger was dope. And then like Jamie was like, yeah, she was there with my buddy. And then I played it again. They're like, oh, he's playing it again. And then like I played some song and then I played Gold Digger again. They're like, hey, he played it again. And then I played it like 3 more times. And they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, dude, you're playing the same song. I'm all, shut up. And then I got away with it because they're like, dude, he's just he's just killing it because it's the hottest song.
Right.
Like,
you wake up, you like, damn, what the hell was I doing? I could have stopped 2 times earlier.
You don't even know, bro. I got stories for days, bro. Stories for days. We got stories like me, Vice, and most of the DJs that were on Scam Artists, like that are still on Scam Artists or whatever. When we were like doing Vegas quite a bit, we used to get these texts from Suji like every morning. You motherfucker, you fucked up or whatever. What did you do last night? These guys are pissed. We'd all get those. So.
What was the craziest thing that ever happened in Vegas for you?
Oh man, like the craziest thing.
You ever Mike Tyson anything?
No. I've never really had bad stuff happen in Vegas because I always
not so much bad, but like just crazy, just something that Barack Obama shows up twerking or something, like something crazy.
I was in Miami one time for the Super Bowl and I was DJing. It was me and Vice DJ'd, and I DJ'd earlier, and then we were doing the CAA, like the party for the Super Bowl, whatever. Vice got on, and then Tom Cruise showed up, right? Mm-hmm. And he got there, and then fucking he got his whole fucking like area done, and then like Vice played a Danger Zone. Oh, Tom Cruise is fucking popped up, and he's like, yeah, and he's like he's fucking rocking out. That was funny. And then
that's insane. Okay,
that's nothing though. But what else? Vegas has always been good. I've never had really fucking bad stories in Vegas. They usually, because I go there, and usually when we're in Vegas, there's always somebody that's looking out, right? Mm-hmm. So it's either somebody that's in your crew or somebody that that works there. So it's never, you get to that point, and then your friends or your people that you work with will be like, all right, dude, hey, let's fucking calm it down.
Right.
But I've had some cool moments. I did a lot of the clubs that I did, most of the clubs that I did in Vegas were always hosted by a celebrity, but they're always pretty cool. They try to maintain, especially now because of all the social media. So you never see something cool. But I remember going to, what's a good story, man? I've had I remember, let's see, what was a good one? I had one that I just said the other day. I just told the story the other day. Where was I at?
It was at Vegas.
Yeah, I might have been in Vegas. Was in Atlantic City. What was it? I did something. What was it? A Super Bowl party? Fuck, I'll forget. I'll remember while we're talking. But yeah,
Right.
always have these crazy stories, dude. Like, what was it, dude? It was something that had to do with was it DJing wise? I don't even know, dude. There's so many of them, dude. I gotta
Yeah, it's that's the thing that's so crazy. That's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I mean it's so many stories and so many different perspectives, and just seeing everybody's or hearing everybody's lens of the same experience, it kind of makes it like a Tarantino movie, you know?
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's dope, and I think that a lot of times we don't. I don't want these stories to die with us, because it's important for us to kind of tell that, especially when it comes to the beat. Like when we talk about like LA radio history, I think the beat is sometimes forgotten, and the people that made it so important, and musically, and what it meant for the city of LA, and what it meant to all the individuals, what it meant for me. You used to drop me off in front of the from my house. I didn't have a car, and you would drive me home in the beat van, and kids would literally like run behind the van until you got to my apartment. And it'd be hilarious, because you can finish that story.
Oh no, it's fucking crazy, dude. It's fucking people will be like, "Yo, man, hey, man," they're just rolling up and shit. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. I remember. I'll tell you a funny story. I remember one time. I was one of the. I was a big fan of Justin Timberlake and NSYNC when I was working at the radio station, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so we ended up playing "Gone," like the NSYNC song, "Gone."
Mm-hmm.
That song, we played it on the beat, we put it in rotation. So I knew the guys that worked at Jive, Eric Parler and those guys, and I'm like, "Hey, we're playing the fucking song. He better call in." So he called in, and then
and this is Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake. Okay.
He called in, and we had a good interview. And then they're like, "Yo," and then he asked me, he's like, "Dude, since you played the record, why don't you DJ my album release party?" And I was like, "Cool, okay." Me and Adam 12, this other DJ, we DJ'd his party, and it was fun. We had a good time. It was all good. And then like a month later, like his album came out, right? And then when his album came out, his solo album, I'm sorry, that was the NSYNC album. Then his album came out, and we played whatever the other song was, Like I Love You, with the Clips. And then so I DJ'd that party. So then that thing. So the second, there was Like I Love You was the first single. The second single was Cry Me a River. And the third single was that Senorita song, right?
Right.
I never liked that song. So then I was drunk, and I went to go see, I was with this my buddy, and we went to go see Prince at the House of Blues in the one on Sunset.
Right.
Prince was playing in the top room only for like 50 people, right?
Crazy.
And it was in the dark. You couldn't see shit.
Right.
So he played over there, and then I went in there, and I went there with him, and then we started having drinks, and then I'm sitting there, and my boy goes, "Hey, there's your fucking boy right there, Justin Timberlake." And I go, "Where?" And I goes, "Oh shit." I go, "Ah, man." And then I go, "Hey," and then he turned around, like he had his security guards and his
right.
Something, and they're like, he was towards the back. I go, "Hey," and I go, "Hey, what's up, man? I want to introduce myself. I'm Eric Cubeechee. I work at the radio station. You did I work at the hip hop radio station, 100.3 The Beat. We played your record, whatever." He's all, "Oh man." Because I was, you know what? We were just, they were just saying something about how like you guys are playing the new record or whatever. Man, I appreciate it. I remember the name and all the stuff. And I go, "Yeah." "Cry Me a River is gonna do good, man. It's doing good." And I go, "Dude, you fucking blew it." And he's all, "What?" And I go, "You fucking blew it. Why would you put out Senorita, bro? That song sucks. You can't play it in the club. You can't do it. You fucking blew it. Did you shoot that shit?" And he's like, and the people behind him are going, "Oh my." I go, "That shit's fucking terrible, dude." And he's all, "You think so?" He's like, his voice cracked. He's like, "You think so?" "Well, I think so." I go, "Jesus Christ." I go, "Would you play that song?" He's, my buddy's like, "Nope." And he's like, "Oh my God." And he pulled his friend over. "Tell him what you just told me." And I told him, and they're all like shaking their heads. And then he goes, "What would you have, what song?" The guy goes, "What would you have gone with the third single?" I go, "The Oh No song. It has fucking Timberland on the hook."
Right, exactly. Yeah.
"Oh no, girl,"
Right.
Timberland on the hook. And you have Timberland on the fucking you have Pharrell and the Clips,
right,
the first single. Then you got the other one, Cry Me a River, that Timberland did all the beatboxing, and it's a great song with the fucking
crazy,
video. Then you had Rock Your Body by Pharrell.
Right.
It fucking sounds like a Michael Jackson song.
Mm-hmm.
And then you threw a curveball, and instead of going with the next Timberland track and done the whole circle, you go and do fucking Senorita Spanish shit, and then you're not even saying it right. You're like, whatever. And he's like, oh man.
His head is all the way to the ground now. How does he recover from that? Does the conversation just awkward after that?
He just shook his head and he goes, oh man. He's like went like that and he started laughing. He's like, oh man, well, hey, thanks, man. Thank you for the support. He just walked out. It was cool. And then my boy was like my friend, I had a friend that was with me, and the other guy that was with me was James White, like the fucking guy from Sony. And he was like, I can't believe you just did that. I can't believe you did that. I cannot believe it. I go, yeah, I fucking tell it like it is, dude. I don't give a shit.
Meanwhile, Justin Timberlake got a hold. He'll never play that song again. He's just,
oh man, I was laughing, dude. And then that's funny, dude. And then I remember one time we were at this club called Snatch, right?
That's in Orange County, right?
Yeah. No. Snatch was in LA.
Okay.
And Puffy was there. Puffy had just moved to LA or something. And I was with my buddy Gucci Ed. Gucci Ed's this crazy character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And me, I'm low key in the clubs. I don't walk up to motherfuckers and say, unless, that JT shit was funny, but I don't really do that stuff. And then my buddy goes, he went up to Puffy, goes, hey, what's up, bro? He's a Mexican dude.
Right.
But he's a Mexican white boy dude, right? Yeah, he's legendary, right? He's like, what's up, bro? And he's all, Puffy's like, what? And he's like, what's up, bro? He goes, you out here in LA, right? He goes, you ain't say what's up to my boy Eric Cubeechee? He runs that LA radio, bro. And the guy's like, huh? Like, I don't understand. He goes, yeah, you're over here partying. You're over here drinking the drinks in LA, looking at these LA chicks. Go say, you got to say hi to my boy. And he's like, oh, whatever, dude, bring him over here. And then he goes,
right.
He comes over, he goes, Cubeechee. I fucking Puffy, go say hi to you. Come here, fucker. And I'm like, what? He's like, Puff, hey, this is my boy Eric, man. He goes, you guys gotta link up. And I'm like, hey, oh yeah, we know. And then his buddy that worked with Puffy was a friend of mine. I forgot his name, but he used to work for Bad Boy too. So he's like, oh, Eric, what's up? And I go, oh, what's up, man? And they're like, oh, you know each other? He goes, yeah, my buddy's drunk, dude. I'm sorry. He's like, oh no, it's cool, man, whatever. And then like that was funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy because you have, all these you got the temperature of LA. Was Diddy acting hella awkward towards you?
He was like, he knew that like whoever was talking to him like wasn't fucking tripping, like didn't give a fuck that he was Puffy, because my boy Ed is a big dude, like he's kind of buff, not buff, but just he's tall and he's fucking and no, but he just, the way he went at Puffy was like, hey bro, let me tell you something. I was like, oh fuck. I go, I'm sorry, man, but he wasn't gonna do anything. He was just
super West Coast. It's like, welcome to LA. It's that's the energy out here.
Yeah, he was just fucking around and stuff. But yeah, man, it was funny. Yeah, I have a million of those stories. That's why the Lounge Act is gonna be fun. I'm gonna bring some of those characters on too.
That'd be sick, man. The Lounge Act. I'm looking forward to it, bro. And it's been a pleasure because, like I said, just to kind of catch up on everything, seeing your journey, learning more about you, and where can people find you on social? Mm-hmm.
Same shit. It's on the Instagram. I'm just like DJ Eric Cubeechee, and then on like Twitter, Eric Cubeechee, and then you'll see my podcast. You'll see on Facebook, same shit, but it's all intertwined. If you're on my Facebook, you'll see my Instagram, whatever. But once I get this thing locked in and stuff, then I'll come back on the show and we'll promote it, and then you can come on my show and we'll fucking do all that good shit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you for having me, dude. It's good seeing you. I'm glad you're all right from the heart attack, dude. You got to keep yourself healthy, bro.
Thank you. And same too, man. I'm just
you look good. You look good, bro. You look good. You look fucking ready to go. And your interviews are good, dude. You know what? You know what's good about your interviews is that you don't need all the fucking bells and whistles and fucking this and that and fucking a horn and all that shit. You don't need that, man. You know what's funny is that I listened to the fucking LA radio. I listened to LA radio the other day when I was going to the early in the morning, and you would think that it's the same shit that was going on 20 years ago.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
The same fucking cowbell, the same fucking spinning, the same fucking cowbell, and then the same fucking dude. How many times are you gonna call this a fucking dude? there's nothing you can do that these kids have not already heard. I have a 15-year-old kid.
Right.
There's no call that's funny anymore. Any crank calls, they're none. They've all been done.
They've all been done. All
Everything's been done. I let my son hear, and he's all, yeah, okay, dude. My son sees anything. There's nothing you can do. Like, there's no more. Like, I don't even get it. There's no more questions. Like, okay, call and let us know what the worst thing you did when you cheated on your girl during the fucking Christmas time. Nobody wants to hear that.
And that's the thing that's so crazy. When you even say that, it's just like, is a prank phone call even a thing anymore? Because if you get your cell phone and I don't get the number, then I'm just gonna hang up. Like, I don't know who the hell this is.
But I heard it, and they're like, okay, call up right now and tell us what what have you done, or if you left your house, dude. And it's funny because me and you are professionals, so we know. And I'm like, and I was in the car with my son, and then they're like, I'm all, you see this? I was teaching my son. I'm like, you hear this? This was done 20 years ago, dude. I'm literally 20 years ago. This was done 20 years ago, and they're still doing that shit. There's so much other stuff that can be done, right? Especially now with all the technology that we have, you can do other shit, but nobody wants to hear you. Oh, let's call this girl, and and you tell me your crush that you have on your coworker and whatever. Okay, well, guess what? It's not going to be a fucking real call, because as soon as she goes on there and says I have a crush on him, they're going to call human resources and they're going to fire the fucking guy, right?
Right.
For fucking sexual harassment.
Yeah, and you could tell it's all fake, and it is like
fake. That's what I was going to tell you. So I told my son, I go, you hear this call? I go, yeah. And he goes, it's fake. I go, dude, that chick who's talking, she's talking too normal, and she's too normal. People that you call do not sound like that. When you call somebody at a job, they don't sound like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, oh, well, let me tell you this, and saying all this stuff, and they had to bleep it all out, right? And and I'm like, dude, this is why. And then it's the same shit, and then the same fucking dude. All they do, these same little slow pitch, easy fucking home run pitch fucking questions. Hey, so how long you been doing this? Oh, really? How do you feel? You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on. You got to evolve.
Yeah.
And what happens is these guys get lazy. They get lazy, dude. And they get lazy, and it sounds lazy. It sounds like it's not even labored. It's a lazy fucking show. And it's incredible to me that they have to be making a killing on some kind of money. Some money has to be coming in for them to still even have a radio show, because my son knows nothing about radio.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's so crazy, because it's just like you said, it hasn't evolved, and they probably just have these grandfathered in contracts and businesses and all these things that they just used to paying for the airtime. But when I listen to LA radio, like I'll listen to like Power 105, like the DJ Sells, the Enoughs, like just musically. But LA is just like you said, it's like, what's there to really grab onto? Because if you came from the beat or what we came from, we would at least use the real estate and have these folks up in there, right, and they could pop up and it was spontaneous,
right?
And it just that energy is just not there anymore. Does he want to be in entertainment?
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's a funny kid. He actually makes me laugh, dude, which is really like, I don't find a lot of things funny, which is, I think it's fucking dorky or whatever, but he actually makes me, he comes up with some good stuff. He's really into animation and drawing and like art. So he's a really good artist, and he works a lot on the computer. He knows everything there is to know. Like, he helps me out, and I know a lot, and he helps me out sometimes with some of the computer stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
But he's a funny guy, dude. He takes boxing classes. He has fucking mean little right hook, mean straight. Like, he's fucking, I'm not worried about him. Like, and he's taller than 15, taller than me. I'm fucking short, so it doesn't really matter. But he's got mean knuckles, real bony guy, dude. So he's like, but no, he's I don't know what he wants to do, dude. He wants to have it, like, I just got him a camera too. I'll let you know, he has his own YouTube channel.
Okay.
He does all animation on it, but
that's sick.
I just bought him a camera because he wants to start hosting and doing stuff like that. And so, I told him, I go, yeah, dude, I'll give you some hints. And he's all, Dad, do I need to, my mom's the one that's on TV, and I'm all, yeah, whatever. Give me a break, dude. Like, your father's the fucking Cubeechee, the great assassin, dude. What are you talking about, bro? Yeah, dude, I had a good time doing this, dude. It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you too, Eric, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, man.
The one, the only, the Cuban assassin. They call him Eric.
Yes,
Cubeechee.
we did it. All right, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, family.
Later.
All right, man.